When you look at the oil shelf today, the first thing that stands out is how aggressively thin oils have taken over. And this isn't a marketing accident, it's a measurable shift driven by regulation, engine design, and fuel economy targets. Over the previous 2 decades, there is a clear migration from 10W40 and 5W40 toward 5W30 first, and then rapidly toward 5W20 and 0W20 after 2010. Even a 1 to 2% fleet-wide fuel economy improvement translates into massive regulatory compliance benefits, which explains why 0W20 adoption accelerated precisely when emissions limits tightened. While 0W20 dominated new gasoline direct injection engines, 5W30 remained the most common service fill grade overall, largely because it straddles efficiency and protection across mixed driving conditions. Interestingly, 5W40 showed almost no decline in turbocharged and high-load applications. The AAA 2017 synthetic versus conventional oil study observed that while 0W20 recommendations sharply increased, many drivers continued using 5W30 even when thinner oils were specified. This created a lag between OEM intent and actual consumption. That steady migration toward thinner oils raises an uncomfortable question. In the push for fuel efficiency, are ultra-thin grades like 0W20 and 0W16 sacrificing durability and long-term wear protection, or are they actually outperforming thicker mainstays like 5W40 under modern engine conditions? Over the next few minutes, we're going to put that assumption under the microscope and test it against independent research studies, OEM data, and standardized tribology metrics to see what really happens once heat, pressure, and shear enter the equation. The goal isn't to crown a winner, but to compare 0W20, 5W20, 5W30, and 5W40 on equal scientific footing, fuel economy gains versus wear rates, viscosity behavior versus HTHS film strength, and chemistry formulation versus real-world driving patterns, so that by the end we're judging oils based on evidence rather than instinct or marketing. Understanding viscosity grades. To make sense of all these chemical and emissions trade-offs, it helps to step back and decode what viscosity grades actually mean, because the numbers on the bottle are often misunderstood. The 20 or 40 is not a weight, and it is not a direct measure of protection. It's a viscosity grade defined by the SAE J300 standard. Under that standard, a 0W20 oil must remain pumpable below 6,200 centipoises at minus 35 degrees Celsius, while also staying within a kinematic viscosity window of roughly 5.6 to 9.3 centistokes once the engine is fully hot at 100 degrees Celsius. That combination of fast cold flow and low hot viscosity is why 0W20 fits fuel-efficient designs found in cars like the Toyota Corolla with its 1.8-liter engine, Camry hybrids using the 2.5-liter inline-4, Honda Pilot's 3.5-liter V6, or even newer Silverado trucks that pair LS series V8s with efficiency-focused calibrations. A 5W20 oil targets the same hot viscosity range, but is allowed to be thicker at low temperature, up to about 6,600 centipoises at minus 30 degrees Celsius. This came into widespread use before the 2010s, when emissions requirements and fuel economy pressures were milder, and engines typically ran in moderate climates, as seen in F-150 models equipped with the 4.6-liter V8, Mazda 6 sedans powered by the 2.3-liter four-cylinder, or Wrangler V6 platforms from the late 2000s onward. Stepping up to 5W30 keeps the same cold crank requirement as 5W20, but the hot viscosity band shifts upward to roughly 9.3 to 12.5 centistokes. That thicker operating film caters to engines designed for balanced performance or higher mileage use, such as Tacoma trucks running the 3.5-liter V6 in international markets, or BMW straight-six engines like the N52 in 3 Series platforms, where temporal stability pairs with ride comfort and mild sport driving. At the higher end, 5W40 increases that hot range again to roughly 12.6 to 16.3 centistokes, producing a more substantial film under load and heat. That characteristic makes 5W40 a favored choice for towing, diesel applications, and high-temperature operation, including power-stroke diesels used in F-250 Super Duty trucks, Duramax V8s in Silverado HD platforms, or TDI diesel engines found in turbocharged Volkswagen Golfs. Multi-grade oils achieve these behaviors through viscosity improvers, typically long-chain polymer molecules like polymethacrylates that expand as temperature rises and resist thinning. Modern formulations have become sophisticated enough that standardized API shear testing often shows permanent viscosity loss controlled to around 10% or less, preserving the intended operating window over time. This subtle detail explains why two oils sharing the same SAE grade can behave very differently in service. The grade defines the allowable boundaries, but the chemistry determines how well the oil stays inside those boundaries as temperature, load, oxidation, and shear begin to work against it. How engines actually wear and why viscosity isn't enough. After decoding viscosity grades, tribology explains why thin versus thick is the wrong lens. Friction and wear don't stay constant inside an engine. They change with speed, temperature, and load. The Stryback curve illustrates this shift. At low speed and high pressure, the oil film collapses and friction spikes as surfaces collide. At higher speeds with moderate load, a continuous film forms and friction drops. No single viscosity stays in that low friction zone all the time because engines continuously move along the curve as they idle, accelerate, cruise, or restart. Startup shows how quickly these regimes cycle. Roughly 70 to 80% of long-term wear accumulates during ignition events when oil hasn't yet built its hydrodynamic film, forcing piston rings and cam lobes into boundary lubrication. As speed increases, the system transitions into mixed lubrication, a zone modern stop-start and variable valve timing engines occupy frequently. Delivery fleets averaging more than 150 restarts per day highlight how common this condition has become. Hydrodynamic lubrication appears primarily during steady highway cruising when a film separates surfaces and friction collapses. Bearings push even further into elastohydrodynamic behavior, where contact pressures can exceed 1 gigapascal, briefly making the oil behave like a solid. Viscosity shifts how the engine rides the curve. Higher viscosity grades, like 5W30 and 5W40, allow engines to reach hydrodynamic at lower speeds and higher loads. Lower viscosity grades, like 0W20 and 5W20, push more operating time into mixed and boundary regimes, reducing viscous drag. A 10% reduction in viscous drag translates into roughly 1 to 2% fuel economy improvement in standardized test cycles. The trade-off is that thin oils leave less mechanical margin under heat and shear, which is why real protection relies on thermal stability and shear resistance rather than raw viscosity. This is where high-temperature, high-shear viscosity becomes the deciding metric. Measured at 150 degrees Celsius under intense shear rates, HTHS determines whether the oil maintains a film thickness to survive bearing loads and ring cylinder contact. Higher HTHS values, typically found in 5W30 and 5W40, maintain film thickness under stress and suppress wear. Lower HTHS values in 0W20 and 5W20 enable measurable efficiency gains but push more protection into the chemical domain rather than the bulk oil film. The chemistry that makes thin oils work or fail. Base oil selection and additive chemistry determine how those viscosity and HTHS targets are achieved. Low viscosity grades like 0W20 are not simply thinner versions of 5W30. They require cleaner and higher quality base stocks like Group 3+, PAOs, or ester blends because there is less room for viscosity drift. Formulating toward the lower limits increases sensitivity to shear and thermal stress, not because the grade is flawed, but because the formulation has to work harder to stay within specification. Oils that achieve low friction without sacrificing durability balance friction modifiers, anti-wear agents, and detergents in precise ratios. In 0W20, the protective workload shifts toward chemical surface films, while a 5W40 can rely more on bulk oil film thickness under the same operating conditions. Emissions controls add another constraint. Modern low-viscosity oils must limit phosphorus content to protect catalytic converters, directly influencing additive chemistry and restricting traditional anti-wear agents like ZDDP. Thicker grades, like 5W40, have more flexibility in additive selection because their applications permit higher treat rates without violating emissions targets. Modern oil phosphorus limits, typically capped around 800 parts per million for GF5 oils, forced formulators to redesign anti-wear systems. Shear stability. Shear thinning happens when long-chain viscosity index improvers are mechanically stressed in bearings, timing drives, and valve trains, temporarily or permanently reducing viscosity. In 2020, Wolak and colleagues conducted a controlled lab rheological analysis of commercial engine oils across multiple viscosity grades, measuring kinematic viscosity before and after standardized shear testing. They found that higher viscosity grades showed the greatest absolute viscosity loss after shear exposure, but low viscosity oils like 0W20 exhibited the highest percentage sensitivity to polymer degradation when aggressive viscosity modifiers were used. In practical terms, a 0W20 oil that begins life carefully tuned can shear closer to the lower boundary of its grade more quickly than a well-formulated 5W30, depending entirely on additive chemistry rather than nominal thickness. Higher viscosity oils behave differently, but not always how people expect. De Carvalho's 2010 diesel fuel economy research showed that 5W40 oils experienced more pronounced mechanical shear early in service, but then stabilized, while lower viscosity oils showed smaller initial drops but continued gradual thinning over time. This suggests that 5W40 often settles into a predictable operating viscosity, whereas thinner oils depend more on additive resilience to stay within grade. Cold cranking viscosity. Cold start is the one moment where oil has no momentum, no heat advantage, and no margin for delay. The W rating exists specifically because most engine wear occurs in the first seconds after startup, when oil must move before metal moves. And independent fleet testing has shown that 0W20 reaches critical engine parts up to 40% faster on startup, meaning less time spent in boundary lubrication where most wear actually begins. Some findings showed that oils can technically meet cranking requirements but still fail to flow fast enough through oil pickup screens if gelation begins. Pour point alone was not the predictor. Low temperature viscosity under shear was. This is where 0W20 gained a structural advantage because its formulation typically relies on lower wax content base stocks, delaying the onset of gel-like behavior as temperatures fall. This doesn't sound dramatic, but when combined with starter motor load and battery limitations in cold climates, it becomes a system-level effect rather than an isolated benefit. And cold viscosity performance deteriorates faster than high-temperature viscosity as oils age. Even when an oil remained within its SAE grade at operating temperature, its low-temperature flow characteristics degrades due to oxidation and wax crystallization changes. This means the initial cold cranking advantage of thinner oils is not just about first fill performance, but about how much margin they retain over time. ExxonMobil Chemical's 2023 Formulation Guide explains that achieving a 0W rating almost always requires high-quality synthetic base stocks with very low natural wax content, whereas 5W oils can still be blended with heavier fractions and rely more on pour point depressants. This explains why 0W20 oils tend to show more consistent cold performance across brands, while 5W30 and 5W40 oils display greater variability depending on formulation quality. HTHS viscosity, the real measure of protection at high temperature. HTHS viscosity measures how thick an oil remains at 150 degrees Celsius while being violently sheared, conditions that closely resemble what happens inside crankshaft bearings and cam lobes at highway speed. Unlike kinematic viscosity on a datasheet, HTHS tells you whether an oil can maintain a load-bearing film when metal surfaces are trying to squeeze it out. Studies show a typical 0W20 oil operates near the minimum HTHS limit of about 2.6 millipascals per second, while many 5W30 oils cluster around 3 to 3.2 millipascals per second, and 5W40 oils often exceed 3.5 millipascals per second. Fuel economy pressure is the reason that margin keeps shrinking. Oils formulated at the lower edge of HTHS limits delivered measurable gains, often around 1% in controlled tests, but also showed increased sensitivity to operating conditions. Lower HTHS oils also required stricter volatility and additive controls to avoid increased oil consumption and emissions. Volatility and oxidation resistance. When viscosity numbers get thinner, the next quiet question is not how well the oil flows, but how fast it disappears. Volatility is the tendency of engine oil to evaporate at high temperature, and oxidation resistance is how long that oil can survive heat and oxygen before it chemically breaks down. These two properties are tightly linked, and research shows they begin to separate oil grades in ways viscosity charts never reveal. What matters here is not startup, not friction, but what happens after hours of heat soak, highway load, and turbocharger temperatures that live far above normal coolant limits. Studies show volatility loss accelerates oxidation because as lighter fractions evaporate, the remaining oil becomes both thicker and more chemically stressed. While modern low-viscosity formulations control volatility far better than older oils, lower viscosity grades still operate with less thermal margin. In contrast, higher viscosity oils like 5W40 start with heavier base stocks and naturally lower evaporation rates, giving them more buffer against sustained heat. As oil molecules oxidize, they form acids, sludge precursors, and varnish-forming compounds. Also, oxidized oil vapors entering the crankcase altered ignition behavior, especially under high thermal stress. Oils that evaporate more easily send more degraded hydrocarbons into the intake system, especially in turbocharged engines with high piston temperatures. Lower viscosity oils require stricter volatility limits to meet emissions and durability. Modern specifications tightly cap NOAC volatility for thin oils, precisely because evaporation losses rise as viscosity drops. Controlling volatility is not optional for 0W20 oils. It is a design necessity to prevent excessive oil consumption and oxidative thickening over service intervals. A 0W20 oil can be exceptionally stable if formulated with high-quality synthetic base oils and robust antioxidants, but it has less tolerance for degradation before performance shifts.